Ladies and gentlemen, it is undeniable that driverless cars are much more beneficial and much more safer and much safer than human-driven cars. It would tell you that driverless cars rate of accidents are lesser than human-driven cars rate of accidents. But the question is, why do people still use human-driven cars? Why do people choose driverless cars? Why do people choose driverless cars for their daily usage, right? This is because number one, the driverless cars still have some dysfunctionality. According to Business Insider, the current driverless cars fail to distinguish lanes on roads with unclear lines, which means that they stray off from their lanes because they cannot distinguish the lanes on the roads, which means that they will stray off and will lead to an accident. This leads the driverless these cars, this leads the passengers to this leads them to lose trust on driverless cars, which means that the passengers nowadays would not want to have driverless cars. Before I move on, Assalamu alaikum and a very good evening. I bid to Mrs. Speaker, panel of honorable judges, faithful timekeeper, with the opponents from side oppositions, fellow comrades from side government, and of course to all members of the floor. Now, debating onto this motion, right? This House believes that driverless cars should be programmed to prioritize the life of its passengers. And coming from side government today, we strongly propose this motion because we want people to use driverless cars. So before I move on to the whole concept of today's debate, firstly I will introduce our lineup for today. As the Prime Minister today, my task is fairly simple. I will firstly open up debate and set up the parameters of today's debate. And I will also state my first arguments under the key phrase of the perspective of the passengers. Now we'll stand up my second speaker, will rebut the points coming from side opposition and will state her own respective points. Now last but not least, we'll stand up my third speaker, will rebut all the points coming from side oppositions and will reaffirm the case for side government today. Now, before I move on to the whole concept of today's debate, allow me to provide you with few definitions within the motion itself. Number one, driverless cars. We would define driverless cars as cars that are self-driven and are autonomous, which means that it does not need any driver and the passenger does not have to spend any energy to drive the car. So which means that we will also say that driverless cars are included with safety features such as GPS, maps for navigations, and also sensors so that they could detect anything that is in front of them. They could prevent them from any collision. We would also define driverless cars as in a state of not being celebrated by the citizen, which means that driverless cars right now are hated by the citizens, and they have a bad perspective towards driverless cars. Now let's move on to what side government will prove to you today. That number one, on how when we improvise the safety features of driverless cars, we would bring benefits towards the passengers. And secondly, we would also show you the benefits on how it would work, how it would bring benefits towards the company. But before I move on, yes.
You said earlier that this program will not actually have been celebrated by the citizens. So why is that you want it so badly to encourage the people to use the program?
I will explain later in my speech. So let's move on to my first concept, right? On why we chose passengers. Because we believe that nowadays driverless cars are not getting any celebrations from people, right? Which means that we have to promote this towards them. Why do we want to promote this? Is under our second concept, which we will say that we want people to drive driverless cars because it is safer than human-driven cars. Why? Because according to research, right, the rate of accidents for driverless cars are lesser than human-driven cars, which means that because it could be explained in a way when a workaholic, for example, right, a workaholic finishes his work and you expect him to drive back home in a tired condition, we will say that we want to implement driverless cars in these situations, which means that these workaholics does not have to drive and they would not have to drive in such a bad conditions that could lead them to get into an accident. Now, third concept is how are we going to program these cars to be safe, right? We would do it in two conditions. Number one, we would choose the safest road possible. What do we mean by this? Is that we know that the problem is the driverless cars fail to distinguish lanes in roads which have unclear lines, right? We are going to program these driverless cars so that uh, they they would only go to roads where it is safe, regardless of its distance. Meaning that we are going to prioritize safety over time. Meaning that um, safety is much more important uh, than their time of arrival, right? So number one in our concept, right? For example, we would avoid rocky roads on or an unsafe road with no confines and whatnot, and we would choose a safer road even if the time prolongs to get there. So and our second mechanism is we would only set the average speed according to specific roads. For example, right, when the driverless cars go in, when a driverless car goes into drives into on a road, and the road's average speed is 60 km per hour, and the driverless car would be programmed to only stay at that speed and will only drive at that speed. So this is for example, right, in real life, it is very close to the Waze app right now, because when we use Waze, right, it would navigate you to roads which has less traffic congestion, right? It is quite similar to our concept where driverless cars would be programmed to go on roads which are safer rather than going on roads which have defects, for example, have unclear lines, right? So which means that we would not consider uh, the amount of time that it would take to reach there, but we will consider the safety of the road. So let's move on to my first argument, right? And then on how it would affect passengers, right? The perspective of passengers. Number one is how when we implement our concept today, we will implement our mechanism today, we will gain users the passengers trust. How? Because um, we are we have insured them with safety, and meaning that the passengers would be safe if they use driverless cars, which means that their trust towards their perspective towards driverless cars will change, and they would use driverless cars. In a wider scope, right? Let's look into society. When it has become a norm in the community, the society would use driverless car much more, and we could lessen road accidents. How? Because we have told you that we have programmed these driverless cars to be very safe, and meaning that they will not get involved they will not be involved in road accidents. So passengers would be safe, and if everyone uses this, we would lessen the we would lessen the rate of road accidents. And what are the effects? We would say that this would lessen the road accidents and make driverless cars become something ethical and not weird towards the society. Which means that at the end of the day, what I have, as a summary of what I've shown you today, is that we have set up a mechanism for how these driverless cars should be programmed, where they will only use safer roads and not dangerous roads, regardless of the time taken to reach their destination. And we have also shown you that how it would affect the passengers and how it would affect society at the end of the day. So we would say that safety is much more important than practicality. So at the end of the day, do go with side government. Thank you.
Thank you for a great speech from the Prime Minister of the side. Now I will call upon the Leader of Opposition to provide the speech. Here.
Ladies and gentlemen, driverless cars pose a boundary when it comes to safety. These autonomous vehicles are programmed with a set of safety rules, and it's not hard to construct a scenario in which those rules come to a conflict with each other. But from our side, we believe that it's important for us to not just look at the safety of the passengers, but also the people around the passengers of the car itself. But before that, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning I bid to everyone, a very good evening I bid to everyone present. Depending on the motion today, which is this House believes that driverless cars should be programmed to prioritize the life of its passengers we, side opposition, wholeheartedly disagree under our stand, where to preserve the sanctity of life of other people. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, to start my speech, first, I would rebut the misleading point given by side government, and then I would present the case from our side and present one substantive from side opposition. To start with rebuttals, right? Firstly, the biggest flaw coming from the side government is that they never actually explain why they will actually prioritize these passengers over other people, right? They never actually clarified the situation where, for example, there will be an accident or there will be a scenario where the car will actually need to make a choice between passengers and other people, right? They only talk about how it is actually important for these cars to be programmed to be actually safe for the drivers, right? They never told you what would happen in accidents where it actually involves pedestrians, where it involves people who actually use other vehicles other than cars, right? And also, they told you on how they would propose uh, under their mechanism on how these cars will actually use the safest route, or these cars will actually have to drive at a certain speed, right? But that is something that is obvious because, of course, cars would actually would be programmed to actually um, to actually have these safety features, right? You know that. But then, how is it important for us to actually prioritize these passengers from people? They never actually told that. For example, on how would it on these scenarios, right? Okay, and then they told you on how it would be if from their case it would be ethical to propose this motion, right? By actually protecting the passengers. But from our side, we believe that it's not ethical because in this scenario you're only protecting the passengers. But what if in a scenario where there are pedestrians on the road and there is a cliff? So the only way for them to protect the life of these passengers is to run over these pedestrians and not to run over a cliff. So in this scenario, the other people, which the pedestrians, would eventually die. So from our side, we believe that it cannot be this way, right? Okay, so moving on to our case, right? Basically, to add a definition into this, we believe that driverless cars are cars that can be automatically driven. For example, they also use a system that can be found, for example, like the autopilot system that can be found in aeroplanes that already existed, right? For example, they have sensors, they have GPS that can actually help monitor the safety of the car. And from our side, we believe on how the prioritizing the life of its passengers, meaning that there is a situation where when there is a situation where the car actually needs to make a split decision whether to protect the life of the passengers or to actually sacrifice other people, that's when we believe that is how we measure the prioritizing the life of its passengers. Because in these scenarios, we actually need to see how these cars would actually be programmed in the first place, right? An analogy that can be given is the trolley effect. When this analogy is when, for example, there's a trolley that is running towards a group of people, but then there's a lever that you can pull to actually change the lane to one person. Basically, in this side, we actually are talking about minimizing the casualties that will actually happen, right? Okay, basically in status quo, these driverless cars aren't actually publicly sold yet, but there are in certain parts that these driverless cars are sold, but it's not actually publicly promoted. I believe, um, okay, and but in order for them to actually add them in the market, people to actually buy this, it must fit the public interest, right? Because in a survey, where 73% of people actually prefer these driverless cars to preserve the life of the pedestrian. Because why? Because it actually minimizes the casualties and amount of injuries that will happen. Okay. So moving on to our point, which is safety of others, right? Okay, imagine that you're in the middle of the road when you're actually trying to cross to the other side, but then a car actually rushes towards you and then approaches you at high speed, and then you didn't even realize that the car is actually running towards you because the car is actually programmed to hit you to actually save the life of the passengers, right? So this is a possible scenario if we actually go with side government, right? Because okay, there are two scenarios. For example, when the car actually where the scenario is with these cars with pedestrians, right? Because we can see and how these people are actually just uh, are working just like that without any form of protection. and then it is easier for them to actually get injured and most probably die, right? Because these cars, for example, when these cars actually lose control, like their brakes can't actually function, and these cars will actually go with a high speed, where these people cannot even try and run for their life, right? And the second situation is when these cars actually go with other vehicles, right? When these other people, for example, you can see on how the probability of the survival of the passenger is actually higher than, say, a rider of a motorcycle, right? Because you can see on how these people don't have that much form of protection that these cars already provide. For example, these cars are already equipped with safety features, for example, seatbelts and airbags. I believe that if we actually prioritize the life of these passengers and actually go to other initiatives and go to these people, it would actually sacrifice these people, right? And then okay, and then the very fact that these autonomous vehicles, these driverless cars, have higher technology and is also considered as artificial intelligence and equipped with safety features, we believe that the passengers already have a low risk of actually getting injured. So for our side, we believe that it's better for these vehicles to be programmed to actually save the life, to actually prioritize the life of the people around them. Because at the end of the day, the passengers already have a low risk of actually getting injured. And we believe that it's also important for us to preserve the sanctity of life of all of these people, right? So with that, go with the opposition.
Taking for a direct speech from the leader of opposition, I will call upon the Deputy Prime Minister to provide a speech. Here.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A bunch of thank you from Mr. Speaker for giving me a chance to speak, and a very good evening to uh, Mr. Timekeeper, my dear opening team, my capable team members, ladies and gentlemen of the floor. I'm Nur Adra as the second speaker of the government team, and I'll be continuing my this debate on a motion that this House believes that driverless cars should be programmed to prioritize the life of its passenger. I agree with the definition given by the Prime Minister, and I'm going to continue my debate by first. I'm going to rebut the points given by the opposition team, and I'm going to give my point first. The opposition side say that they would preserve the sanctity of life, and they should and we should prioritize the life of people around them. I totally disagree with this point because first, this driverless cars is a high technology. So of course, uh, the engineer has to think about inertia. Okay, you know about inertia, right? Okay, because of what? Because the car will sorry. Because of course the car have their own safety features. There has a sensor that will sense in a far range of far range of in a long distance. So I believe that the risk for this driverless car to hit pedestrian or fall into the cliff are so low. Why? Because if there is a cliff, they will know, they will sense the they will know how the road situation. And um, my prime minister just said about uh, we would uh, we would assist an application that can help the pedestrian or people around them know um, the lane that will be used by the driverless car. Next, I'm going to continue with my point. On this debate motion, I believe that if we program the driverless car to prioritize the the I'm sorry the life of its passenger, this will benefit the government. Why? This is because it will decrease the accident rate of a nation. But how? By we prioritizing the passenger's life. For example, we will follow the speed limit. We will drive under speed limit. The car will be programmed under the speed limit. Next, if there is a road that is under maintenance, the driverless car will use other road, and if there is a damaged road, the car will also use another road, even though it will prolong the distance and prolong the time, but we will prioritize the life of its passenger first. Okay, what are the benefits if we prevent the road accidents? Oh, okay, I'm sorry. The examples that I have given, that I just gave, will decrease the accident rate and also lessen the casualties and also protect the public facilities. And this will increase the nation's image. How? By make the nation as one of the safest country in the world by having low rate of accident. And this will promote the country to the world and attract the tourists to come to the country. Next, moving on to my next explanation. But before that, yes.
You see in your substantive that you want to decrease of the death toll, so that what you say that you want to decrease the death toll. How about
What we want to decrease what?
your point? You see illustrated in your point that you want to decrease the death toll. That's why you want to decrease the injury. But how about pedestrians? What instead of the cars? What? So like these pedestrians are going to be more
Okay,
than the
I understand your. Okay, as a pedestrian, before you before you walk, you will look to your left, to your right, and see if there is any car on the road. So, if the pedestrian know to take care of his safety, they will of course be careful with the environment. So, it's not the driverless car's fault if they get injured. Please be seated. Thank you. Next, my explanation is by prioritizing the passenger's life, this can help increase the nation's income. By how? By lessen the casualties. For example, avoid paying unnecessary things by signboards, dividers, or something like that. Because what? Because we use applications to help the people know, to help the citizens know if the driverless cars using that road or not. Next, we will protect the public facilities. Because of what? Because the rate of accident will be low, and this will prevent the public facilities, and this will prevent the public facilities to broken. Sorry. Please be seated. Thank you. Okay. The money to spend. Okay. The government will use less money to spend for recovering the damages, and also the citizens will get benefits from this. This is because uh, if the government has lots of money, it will help the citizens by giving them by giving I'm sorry. Besides that, the driverless cars company can also bring benefits to the nation's income. Why? Because first, the company has gained trust from the passenger. Next, more driverless cars will be used, and the company will gain more profits. Okay, as you know, the company will pay taxes to the government, and of course, big company will pay high taxes, and these taxes can also help the country economically. Because of what? Because taxes are the nation's income, as we know. For example, fuel give benefits to the government. For example, I just said about the prolonged distance road, and as you know, fuel, petrol is the government assets, and the government will gain income from the taxes too. With that, I end my speech with a Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you for a wonderful speech involved the Deputy Prime Minister. I will call upon the Deputy Leader of Opposition to give us a statement. Hear, hear.
Ladies and gentlemen, the question of today's debate is the government side didn't actually differ. What is the difference between driverless car and the self-driving car? Because actually the self-driving car can also equip with the sensors, with the GPS, with the airbags and the seatbelt. So what is the difference? What is the difference between the self-driving car and the driverless car? What makes it so special until the government side want to program this driverless car to today's world right now. So, uh, so, so that is a question that the government side should answer in today's debate. So before that, Assalamualaikum and a very good evening I bid to all. Uh, as the second speaker of the opposition side, firstly I would like to rebut the points given out from the second and the first speaker from opposition side and clarify the case from the opposition side. And I will give one point to strengthen our position. Okay, firstly, let's move on to the rebuttal. Okay, the second speaker said that she did touch on the high technology that is equipped in this driverless car. They said about the inertia. But ladies and gentlemen, let me define this inertia to you. Inertia is actually the tendency for a moving object to remain moving. So when this inertia concept is being implemented in the driverless car, actually it will only worsen the scenario, the situation, and not actually helping the others because the passenger life is in risk and also the pedestrian life is in risk. And secondly, the road. All of us are the road users. The pedestrians, the drivers, the passengers. We are all the road users. So So it's a bit unfair for only the passenger users, only the passenger life to be prioritized and not the pedestrian. Yes.
My question is about the inertia. Okay, as you can see, the engineer will think about the inertia. Okay, they know that the car will stop in in what distance if there is a cliff in front of them.
So ladies and gentlemen, imagine what if emergency situation happen. How can the car give a information to the or give out information for them to to uh, to suddenly stop, and so this analysis will still happen, and the passengers and pedestrian life is still in place. So that is why I disagree with the government side. And secondly, she did touch on to prevent the public facilities from broken. But ladies and gentlemen, these situations are actually happen because of the vandalism. So what? So how can you actually sure that when these driverless car exist, these facilities will not be broken? It doesn't show anything. So it is not a strong point to support today's motion. Please sit down. And the first speaker told us about these driverless car could actually lessen the road accidents. And they say that this driverless car will actually use a long journey in order for a better safety. But ladies and gentlemen, these driverless car actually is highly cost. So we believe that people that use this car is actually people that are very important. They have a lot of jobs. They are multitasking and and um and it's very important. So time management is very important to them. So if this car actually uh, didn't save didn't have the aspects of saving times, so will it actually be conducive for them? I believe it is not. So So from this reason, the driverless car is not conducive to be implemented in today's world. So now let's move on to my point. Yes, sir.
Uh, you asked us on why we want why we want people to use driverless cars. Imagine a situation where you just finish your work and you are tired and you are expected to drive 1 kilometer away. And two questions. Number one, do you think that it is safe for them to drive? And number two, wouldn't you think that driverless cars would be suitable in this situation?
Thank you, sir. But ladies and gentlemen, it's only happen if the passengers have the desire to do so. This is only assumption, but not everybody in this world would have that kind of desires uh, and make this driverless car as a must for them to be programmed in today's world. Okay, now let's move on to my point. So the first so So the second point for the opposition side is the discrimination among the life seekers. Ladies and gentlemen, when we are talking about the road, it is a vast journey. It's a vast like medium. So there are a lot of people that are using the road, the pedestrians. And the pedestrian not only consists of people that are able like us. It can be anyone. It can be the paralyzed people. It can be the disabled people. It can be blind or maybe deaf. So according to this kind of situation, it would be very unfair for the driver's car to be implemented, but only to save or prioritize the safety of the passengers. So this is why we really believe that this is not the best solution or the best thing to do in today's world. And from this motion, it is sending a message to the society that if you want to be safe in the road, you must own this car. So ladies and gentlemen, I talked to you earlier that this car needed a highly cost because to research about the concept and the technology, and the second one in order to produce the car because the car itself needed a lot of safety features and whatnot. And then secondly, what happens if this driverless car being worldwide and everyone are supporting this application. So if an accident happen, the unfortunate people, the one who have less income or the one that is unfortunate, which is paralyzed or something else, will be blamed because of what? Because their car is not equipped with this kind of facility of this kind of safety features. So ladies and gentlemen, so from this point, it actually um, it told you on how it is unfair to actually to apply or implement this driverless car program because not everyone can afford it because it is highly cost and it won't actually work because it is not conducive because uh, it needed a lot of uh, uh, anything else. Okay, with that, thank you.
Thank you for being provided by Deputy Leader of Opposition. I will call upon the government whip to provide the speech. Hear, hear.
Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. IB. A very good morning, IB, to the honorable judges, faithful timekeepers, opponents from side opposition, fellow members from the government side, and last but not least, the members of the floor. Debating to this motion is also believe that driverless cars should be programmed to prioritize the life of its passengers. From the government side, we fully support this motion. Moving on to my first rebuttal. First, the leader of opposition said that it is important to look into safety of other people. But our prime minister, they give us the example of how a driverless car will, when they are uh, have to choose among pedestrians or their passengers, the driverless car will choose their passengers, right? So uh, our Prime Minister already said that the cars will only move at an average speed at the road. So, for example, the car is only moving at 40 kilometers per hour or 60 kilometers per hour. It is the pedestrian fault for not looking at the road first before they cross the road. Uh, so it is not the fault of the passenger. No, thank you. Uh, because the car is moving at an average speed. So it is at our rational mind, we will actually look at the road first to actually cross the roads, right? So in this case, the opposition's point are not good enough. And actually, we had already looked into the safety of other people because when we let's make a comparison, right? A driverless car and a normal car. Uh, not these driverless cars, we already defined that these driverless cars are only moving at an average speed limit of 60 kilometers per hour according to their pace, right? Rather than normal cars, their drivers can break the speed limit, which actually increases the rate of accidents. So we actually have cater to the problem of road accidents of pedestrians and their passengers. And uh, the second point coming from leader of opposition is they said that these cars are already equipped with safety features, so we should protect others. Uh, the major flaw coming from the opposition side is the opposition never provided in what situation will the car choose uh, the pedestrian. For example, if there are cars and 10 pedestrians. There is 5 passengers in the car and only 1 pedestrian. Will the car still choose the pedestrian? So that's why we choose to actually emphasize on the safety of the passenger. And then, in any case, if there are even 10 pedestrians on the road, and because we see that roads are bound to have many cars, right? So when one cars have accident, it will actually lead to a direction where more casualties will occur, more public, more 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 things will be as casualties, and uh, many more lives will be lost. But before I move on, yes, the speaker.
Okay, so basically, you said on how our side didn't even provide an example, right? But we already told you in our speech, for example, in worst case scenarios, where the car actually has to choose, for example, when you're in the middle of Kuala Lumpur and you have to choose between running into Sogo or into a set of pedestrians, right? From your side never actually clarified why is it important, even in that case, to prioritize the passengers. Please explain.
Okay, for example, in Kuala Lumpur, right? Kuala Lumpur is bound to have many cars. So when actually these cars have accidents, stumble up and surge, it will actually, like I said before, it will cause a chain reaction where it will affect other cars. For example, if there are 5 cars on the road, actually all cars will actually uh, uh, get the chain reaction, and uh, yes, more casualties will occur. And then moving on to second speaker of opposition. And the second speaker of opposition said that the government side, our side never explains the difference between driverless cars and normal cars. Actually, we explain because we said that driverless car are cars that are autonomous, fully automatic, and actually uses this GPS and have these sensors, right? And we said that its difference with self-driven cars is these drivers are prone to fatigue, drunk, and uh, susceptible to driver's defects. So that's what we said about the difference of driverless car and normal cars. Before I move on, yes.
Please clarify to us what is so special about this driverless car until it can actually guarantee the safety of the passengers. Please clarify.
I believe that our Prime Minister had already clarified that we actually said that it will only move at an average speed, and it will move only at safe roads. Because we see that and it is also fully autonomous and not susceptible to the driver's defects. For example, if the driver has hypermetropia or the driver is actually drunk, will it be safe to drive on the road? Of course not. So that's why we are emphasizing this motion. We want to actually promote this self-driving car, uh, uh, this this driverless cars, because uh, actually it will lead to less road accidents and casualties. And opposition side actually always talks about how in emergency case, if the car is faulty and such. First point, it is the emergency case probability is really low. And second, we see, if we compare the rate of if any of their situation happens, and and normal compared to normal cars, because normal cars, like we said before, they are like prone to driver's defects, because for example, if people are drunk, they will actually lead to road accidents. And and they are also say that they ask us why we want to use driverless cars. Because we already stated that before. Because for workaholics, doctors and lawyers, for example, they work at early morning and get back home at late night. So do we want them to drive these cars at such a tired state? No, because they are more prone to accidents because of sleepiness and such. So that's why we want to actually implement this motion. And and the leader of deputy leader, second speaker of opposition, also said about the high cost of the driverless cars, right? But this actually has never been defined by either prime minister or leader of opposition. So actually, these points can actually faulty. Uh, I am glad to propose.
It is for the speech from the government whip. Now, four part of the whip to provide the speech. Thank you.
Government always keeps telling you the same thing, but like their mechanism, safe roads and limit speed and everything like that. Don't use the rocky roads, but they always like that. It's actually that their mechanism is actually a mutual exclusive. We as officials also use that. We also implement that, but right now. Right now, what we are debating right now is about why we should prioritizing the pedestrian rather than the passenger. And they never tell you about that. They always keep telling you about the mechanism, but why we should use safe routes and why we should limit the speed, like going to average speed. And but they never touch about why they want to prioritize the passenger rather than the pedestrian. So now, since the government always keeps telling you the same thing, I'm going to rebut them as well. But before that, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And a very good day, everyone in this hall. Today, debating on the motion, I, as the third speaker of opposition, would wholeheartedly oppose to this motion in under the stance to preserve the sanctity of life. Okay, moving on to my rebuttals. Okay, like I'm going to, like I just say, I'm going to rebut the government as well because they keep saying the same thing. Those mechanisms that they always believe on, but those things are actually mutually exclusive. We also have that because every drivers should like use this average landing speed. They know that, but right now what we are debating on is actually why what we want to prioritize the pedestrian. Okay. Okay, and before this, my second speaker already outlined them why driverless cars are very special that can make uh, the passenger become safe. And they said about the same thing, and like they said about like this cars is actually this driverless car actually this and this car having this normal car having that. But actually, the things that the student speaker said is actually the characterization of driverless cars are actually the same with the normal cars. So it's actually their saying of the characterization of driverless cars are the same, like they are equal with normal cars. Okay, that's first. And second is the second speaker, she said about that. I asked her that how about the pedestrian? Like you want to prioritize these the passengers. How about the pedestrian? Would they be killed because we are prioritizing the passengers? But she said that it's actually the passengers' fault that they should be focused on. But right now, what I see from her speech, she is victim blaming. Like she put the fault on the pedestrian. But right now we cannot do that because why we want to everyone to be safe. So we have to see. Okay, never mind. Okay. And like I say that she's victim blaming. Like she said that those pedestrians should be focused and should be like be really safe. Like when you see a car, you should go run away. But right now, how about those disabled persons? How about those handicapped? They don't like maybe they cannot see what will happen right now. So she like she is victim blaming on those people, especially for those who have disabled. And and then and she said that what like if we are using driverless cars, there will be like tourism, like reduce tolls, and actually those are irrelevant because like I we those are irrelevant points given by the government. Why? Because right now they are actually misunderstanding for today's motion. They thought that they have to promote the driver's cost, but right now we are debating on why we should prioritize the passenger, and they never tell you about that. And then she used assumption like if this road is actually like occupied or like something happens, you should go to another road like another lane like that. But she's assuming that because some roads are actually one way. So how are you going to say that? Are you going to just um like are going to just go through the barriers? Are you want to say that like if like this person using one road? Okay, and then and the first speaker said that about perspective of passengers, like passengers could be safe and not because they're not involved in accidents and because they're important. How about the perspective of pedestrian? When you're like focusing on passengers too much, the pedestrian would feel like you'll be biased. The pedestrian would think the government is biased like not focusing all and at pedestrian. And when pedestrian feels that the rating of buying the driverless cars would be low. So like it will be like a catch 22 situation where when you want to achieve this um, one goal, but actually it's not going to happen like that. Okay, moving on to my summarize. I'm going to summarize my team's whole case. Okay, right now, before that, yes.
Can you clarify to us? How do you prioritize the life of people around us?
Okay. I'm going to clarify how we're going to prioritize the people who are around us. Okay. We're like we want to we should be programmed like we are right now we are talking about programming the driverless car because it's still in the okay, never mind. Okay. Right now we are talking about programming the car. So we would program when there's a pedestrian in front of the car. the car will immediately go another lane or maybe crash into another barrier. It's okay because in the car, if you want to see if when the car crashes barrier, the passenger would have like a higher chance of getting injured and something like that. But the thing is, in each car, even like normal cars, they have this airbag. So when we have this airbag, it will reduce the injury. Okay, moving on to my summarize. I'm going to summarize the whole thing. Okay, we inside overseas always we always say that we are prioritizing the passengers is because we are prioritizing the pedestrian is because that the pedestrian is most likely to going to be a lot of number rather than the occupants in the car. So that's why we want to decrease the death toll right now. So if we are prioritizing the passengers the most likely that has little number than the pedestrian, the death toll will be increasing. So we want to avoid that because we want this country to be peace. We also not only going we're not going to prioritize only in Malaysia but in other countries in other countries in the whole country. And then like in my second speaker also say that like stereotypes like if like okay, but the stereotype, like when everyone sees that these cars are actually prioritizing the pedestrian, everyone would buy it because they say this car's going to be safe. But if they see these cars prioritizing the passengers, they would think that they would think lots of negative things, and and people will not buy it. Okay. Before I end my speech and I take my seat, I would like to reaffirm my stance that is to preserve the sanctity of life. So vote for opposition for a better country for this this cause. With that, thank you.
Thank you for the participation of the debate. Now we will have a 3 minute prep time for each team to prepare the reply speech. minutes at time. Now we qualify the authenticity, provide the reply speech. Easy.
Very sad how side government never thought about the fate of these people who aren't the passengers of these driverless cars. And it's also very sad with the fact that side government never actually touched about the main issue in today's debate, which is whose life is to be prioritized, the passengers or those other people in these worst case scenarios. And they're actually distracting us, distracting the whole hall with the benefits of actually gaining a driverless car, right? Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good evening. So in my reply speech, I would point out the flaws coming from side government and then tell you all the reasons why our side takes the lead. Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, basically what side government is supposed to do in today's debate is that they have to actually pinpoint why is it actually important for us to prioritize the life of these passengers rather than these people, right? And then they actually fail to do so because from throughout the whole debate, they only talk to you about the benefits of having these driverless cars, about how it is actually important for you to have driverless cars, how these driverless cars are going to be programmed. But they actually never told you how it would it actually be programmed in these crises, right? Secondly, they told you on how is he told you on how the country will actually gain income with petrol, with tourism, and all that, right? But with me, on how that is actually not what we're debating about today. And side government is clearly steering clear from the main issue that is actually need to be argued in today's debate, right? Okay, basically they question us on how we're actually just talking about these people in these worst case scenarios, right? But ladies and gentlemen, that's the main question in today's debate. Why is it actually so important for us to actually prioritize whose life, right? And basically for side government, they need to say on how it is actually important for them to prioritize the life of the passengers over the life of other people, right? But that's what they actually failed to do in today's debate, right? And basically a few rebuttals, right? They told you on how it is actually very, very important for us to actually buy driverless cars, right? Ladies and gentlemen, we're not stopping people from buying these driverless cars. But we actually do know that in this era when there will actually be demand and all that, right? So that's why the question actually rises. When these cars are actually sold and actually used in the first place, which people have their lives to actually be prioritized in terms of these types of crises, right? And then they actually told you on how the probability is low, on how these worst case scenarios would actually happen. But that's what we're actually debating about, right? And also they told you on how these users of driverless cars are people who would actually be very, very tired from work and people who are drunk and all of that, right? And then they told you on how these driverless cars would have safety features, right? Because that's very realistic. Because it's obvious that these cars would actually have these safety features because these things are already there in the first place. We already told you how this is already in status quo in other things, in other devices, on how other devices, for example, water kettles or other things, are already have safety features that actually don't affect these people. The main question is and the main question is how is it actually so important for them to actually sacrifice other people's life in regard of these passengers, right? Okay. And then why does our side actually take the lead? From our side, less casualties will occur because from our side, when these driverless cars already have safety measures and given that the situation is that they actually need to choose between other people and their and passengers, right? That these casualties, less casualties will actually occur in the first place because we're actually avoiding these people to actually be injured, and we're actually avoiding these pedestrians or these people without form of protection to actually be safe. And from our side, we are also actually mitigating the stereotypes that will occur from their side. So with that, side opposition takes the lead.
Safety was being provided by the output of the team to Right, the reply speech. Is it?
A very good evening once again. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Reply Speech Arena. During these last minutes of my speech today, I will show you why side government will take the case today. Number one, from the very get-go, what both sides wanted was to preserve life, the sanctity of life itself, right? We wanted to preserve life from the very get-go. But while on our side, we wanted to preserve life by preventing road accidents, and by manufacturing on how driverless cars works, right? While on their side, they wanted us to consider a life and death situation where we have to choose either the passengers or the bystanders has to either die. We will say that these situations are one in a million. The probabilities of these situations to happen are one in a million. We will say that this situation does not even happen in real life. Even if the situation happens, right, we have already catered to the problem where they said to us that what if we have to choose between bystanders and a cliff in front of us? That is the function of our safety features today. We have already stated to you that our driverless cars have sensors so that they would stop before they hit anything. Or even if they say that safety features don't work right in our current status quo, we would tell you that even in our mechanism where we program these cars to just drive in 60 kilometers per hour, which is an average speed, and they are traveling at such a slow speed that they would not even be involved in any road accident. We have told you that in our paradigm today, and I've also told you they have in their side today, they are also discouraging people to use driverless cars because of why? Because if we use driverless cars, at the end of the day, we have one of us will get killed, right? And why? Because they are trying to prioritize the life of others and not the driverless cars customer. Meaning that they want the passengers to die. They would rather choose the pedestrians rather than the passengers itself. Meaning that the passengers would lose trust in this product and would not buy driverless cars at all. Meaning this would affect the economic of the countries and would not let the countries gain taxes. And this is what side opposition failed to cater to us today. And they have told you in the second argument, they have told you that this would create a discrimination of other road users. They would say that the passengers would kill bystanders. Again, we have told you that in our mechanism, these driverless cars would only travel at such a safe speed and would only travel on safe roads, which means that the odds of accident to happen is very low at this point of stage. And we have told, and with this, we have shown you where our side would lessen the amount of casualties, and then rather in their side, we have to choose whether the passengers must die or whether the bystanders would die. We will tell you that when they say that in situations where we save the life of the pedestrians and we risk the life of the passengers itself. They say that in that situation the passengers would survive. Just imagine the odds of that happening, because right now even in normal cars itself, in that predicament, uh, they are still exposed to that. So at the end of the day, our side catered to both of the problems, which at the end of the day, neither the passengers or neither the pedestrians would die. While on their side, they ask us to choose whether the passengers or the pedestrians would die. So at the end of the day, our side creates less casualties than that. And with that, I'm glad to conclude. Thank you.
Thank you for the speech provided from the authority.